Support WrestleTalk!
Visit WrestleTalk.com.
Is Dean Ambrose turning heel on The Shield? I'm Ollie Davis. This is the other one, Luke Owen. Welcome to the WrestleRamble Raw Review edition, where, yes, there was quite a nice narrative thread running through yesterday's Raw, where it started with a in-ring promo with The Shield, and the Dogs of War came out and said, hey, look, Seth's really great, Roman's really great. Where's he title, Dean? And they just kind of teased that throughout the night. People would talk to people backstage, and it ended with Ambrose sort of siding with the Shield over the Dogs of War. I'm sure that's all wrapped up. I'm sure that's not foreshadowing anything that's coming in the future.
Absolutely not.
No.
I'm sure everything is rosy amongst the garden of the Shield.
Yeah.
The dog's big yard is in bloom.
If you look at everything, like this to me definitely screamed one night isolated story.
I completely agree with you there. We've got nothing to worry about with that Dean Ambrose, with that lunatic no longer fringe.
Yeah.
He's all right in my books.
Yeah, you look at him and you think that's one, well-adjusted guy who can move past any seeds of doubt that have been sown in his mind.
Do you remember, like, back in the day, they always would say, like, if you got a different haircut, if you grew a beard, that definitely meant you were turning heel. But I don't think that's happening these days. No, absolutely
not with Dean.
Not with Dean. No, he seems all golden.
We're being facetious. It looks like, yes, so I enjoyed this episode of Raw, just to get it out of the way.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I did.
Only because when I came in and said, what did you think of Raw, you went, eh.
Well, I enjoyed, maybe a better way to phrase it is I enjoyed this story.
I agree.
I thought it was very good.
I agree.
And I like it when WWE make an effort to weave something throughout the night. More importantly, something throughout the night that's interesting.
Yes.
Not Baron Corbin's going to face off in the main event for the Universal title. Something.
Which was brought up.
Yeah. Where Stephanie McMahon comes in, says, I saw you, put yourself in the match, that's power gone mad. Want to talk, Stephanie. But then she kind of brought up the ratings.
Oh, did she?
Did she? Or am I making that? I might have put that in myself.
Okay.
Well, whatever happened, the ratings did not back up Corbin as a draw.
Absolutely not. No, but anyway, back to the Shield.
Yes.
So I thought this was actually quite a good opening segment anyway. So the Shield come out and Dean calls themselves the workhorses of WWE, which is becoming one of my least favourite terms that they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's okay because they try really hard.
Yeah, we do lots of matches and therefore you should like us.
You know what's cool? Working. Yeah.
And they said, like, we've lost a few battles, but we're still standing. And there was a point when, and I didn't realise this until someone posted a GIF of it, and I thought, God, Dean's good. So there's a moment when Roman says, like, hey, we may have lost some battles, but all that matters is this. And he and Seth lift up their belt, but poor old Dean hasn't got a belt. And he doesn't lift anything up, and he's got this look on his face, which is like, I haven't got a belt. You guys suck.
Yeah.
And it's the bit of acting that at the time, I certainly didn't notice it. But when you watch it back, you're like, oh, that's actually some foreshadowing for the story they were going to tell throughout the night. Good work, Dean.
Yeah, because I put that in initially as a joke, like when I was writing my notes. Roman, I think you forgot about someone there. But no, that's totally what it was designed for.
Yeah.
It was so Seth raises his Intercontinental title. Roman's got his Universal title. He said Roman's line was something to the effect of, we're the best, all you have to do is look at our resumes. And they hold up the championship belt.
Yeah.
But Dean's got this weird pose where, he's got this sour look on his face. But he looks sour most of the time these days. But he's kind of got
He's not turning heel, though.
Arms hunched forward with two fists, like he is doing whatever the opposite to holding a title up is. So just putting your fists pointing towards the ground with no title.
Yeah.
It was, and he's just sort of in the background between both men. It was a very, that is the sort of shot that you play over in the start of the promo package to recap the eventual heel turn before the big payoff match.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, and so Seth says that Braun's got himself, he wanted the belt so bad, he wanted the Universal title so bad, he's got himself a couple of jackasses to hang around with him, and then he calls Baron Corbin the biggest substitute teacher ever, which I'm not one for wacky Seth, but that did make me laugh.
Well, I've written here that this Shield really, they're not as bad as 2008 DX.
Oh God, absolutely not. No, they are, because very few things are that bad.
Yeah. But if you look back at the Shield of 2013 and this Shield, it is kind of that act you used to love, Weezer, and then they...
Still holding on to that Weezer dream, aren't you?
They've brought out a new album, and you think this is going to be the one, but actually, no, it's not again.
I love every year you and I tend to have this discussion of just like, do you think this is going to be the album? Do you think this will be the album that will turn it around? It'll be the one that's a return to Blue Album and Pinkerton.
Yeah.
And it never is.
Yeah. Well, they covered Toto, so...
Yep. So Twitter got its wish. Anyway, Baron Corbin comes out and he says that the advertised match for tonight was, because this is what Stephanie wanted, was that it was going to be The Shield versus Baron Corbin and 2 mystery partners. And my first thought was, God, I hope it's AOP.
Really?
I was like, I really hope it's AOP.
You called that? Because I was thinking...
No, not that I called it. I said I hope it is.
Yeah.
And when
I didn't even think of that as a possibility.
And then when Braun and Ziggler and Drew came out, and I was like, oh, well, I've sort of seen this. Like, I'd rather it be someone different. I nearly wrote in my notes, it'd be so awesome if this was AOP. And then he said that it can't be these 3 because Drew and Dolph are defending their tag titles later, so he's still got to find these mystery opponents. So I had this little shred of hope throughout the show that it was going to be someone like the Authors of Pain.
Well, I just assumed when he said that it was going to be Strowman. Like Strowman and someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kevin Owens.
Jinder.
Yeah, Jinder. Mojo Rawley. And spoiler, it turned out to be AOP, not Authors of Pain.
Although Michael Cole did call them Authors of Pain, but I think it was an accident.
A slip.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was an inspired choice.
As do I.
Really, really good. I didn't see it coming. I couldn't think of any other person it could be apart from Braun Strowman and Vacant. and having AOP out there is such an ingenious move.
Yeah.
Because it really elevates them without doing much to that main event level. And just having the sight of Razor in there with Roman Reigns.
Loved that, actually. It was really cool.
Oh, it was really, really good.
Yeah, really like this. And yeah, he said that it could be the 3 of you versus the 4 of us. This is Braun Strowman.
Back to the opening segment.
Yeah, this is Braun Strowman here. He says it's going to be the 3 of you versus the 4 of us. But it won't. The 4th one isn't Corbin, because the 4th person is going to be you, Dean. You're going to come and join our side because, look, these guys are just using you. Like when Seth needed a win at SummerSlam, he got you. When Braun tried to cash in his money in the bank, Roman called you to stop that from happening. They're just using you, man. And it was really good. And you could see, and it was sowing those seeds that then sort of played throughout the show. I thought this was a very solid segment.
I thought Ziggler's performance in particular here was
it was very good. And that's what you bring up SmackDown as well.
Yeah, like I was there with you, man, in SmackDown back in 2016, and you became the WWE champion without these guys. When you were without them, you were the top guy. You were the big dog. But now you've come over to Raw and you were injured. Look how quickly Seth Rollins replaced you with Jason Jordan.
That.
And it's like, it's riffing off this stuff that's real in the kayfabe world. So yeah, really, I thought this was great motivation. Yeah. And they've taken it in a direction I didn't think they'd go. This has really added a layer of complexity to what is, quite frankly, a bit of a Franken feud. In that you've got the Shield and then you've reversed engineered this awkwardly heel Braun who chuckles now. Have you noticed that?
He's got a bit franchise.
There was a bit, when they walked down in the main event down the ramp and the AOP and the Corbs blindsides the Shield, and it cuts back to Strowman. He's just like, like, no, don't chuckle, Strowman. Just look mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they've. So this Franken feud where you've got an awkwardly placed heel with just 2 person they've awkwardly tacked onto him. Now you've added this layer of complexity. It feels a bit. It gives you something else to sink your teeth into, and it's much needed, and it's worked very well.
And when the Dean turn does eventually come, which I think we're all sort of feeling it might do anyway. I think when Dean came back, we were all sort of expecting there would be a heel turn for Dean down the line, and they can just pick up that WrestleMania program we didn't get this year because Dean went out with an injury. And then maybe you'll do it in December and then use that to build towards Mania in April next year.
Yeah, or maybe the split comes in the Rumble.
Yeah.
That there are so many ways you can go.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of pacing you can do in the lead up to Mania.
The dream way, of course, is that you keep building up Dean as the one who might turn, and then it's Roman who beats down them both, and then you're like, oh my god, you've created that. I imagine you'll create a super baby face in Dean.
So what we're saying is going to be Seth then.
Yeah. And another really good line here was from Drew in this opening promo, where he singled out Dean and said, we fought last week, And I've got to be honest, man. I don't usually say stuff like this, but you took me to my limit. You really pushed me. You're really good. And I was like, that meant so much coming from this dastardly heel of McIntyre.
Yeah.
And it really, like, they did a really good job of going after the unhinged one to bring them over to the side of evil.
Yeah, and Dolph was saying that, hey, look, Braun's going to win the belt at Crown Jewel. So you should come and join us. Then you can win the IC title and we'll all be like belt buddies. I thought this was really good.
Belt buddies.
And it's sort of built throughout the night because you then had Dean and you had Seth approaching Drew.
So first you had Dean and Dolph backstage.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and Ziggler came up to Dean and effectively said what he said in that opening promo, that he was there on SmackDown, the Jason Jordan replacement. He deserves better. And Ambrose, acting was really, really good. He just stayed silent, looking mean. It's a shame they made him cut the promo at the start of the Shield segment. Actually. Otherwise, Dean would have been silent throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
It's weird that Ambrose is such a good promo, but I feel like his character right now, he'd be better if he didn't talk at all.
Yeah, like you. I'm kidding, obviously. And I really like this because Dolph was talking about how, like, Dean, you nearly died from your staph infection. You were, like, seriously injured. And where were they? They weren't on your call. And then I love this from Dolph. He said, you don't need to do anything. We're going to be out there for the main event anyway. You don't have to do anything. Just give us the signal and we'll do it. And I thought there was going to be a moment in the match where Dean doesn't give a signal, but they read it as a signal.
Oh, that would have been nice.
And then you can really play it up on commentary. Like, did Dean give the signal? Did he mean for them to attack?
So after that, we had Seth Rollins going up to Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
So after Dolph had tried to sow the seeds of dissension with Dean, Seth, ever the architect, whatever, morality aside, Seth goes up to Drew and says, hey, you're really the breakout star of this little faction.
You're the Kevin Nash of this group.
Yeah, maybe, you should split away from them.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, that's interesting as well. There's another wrinkle. And then Ziggler comes up to Drew after that, and Drew just walks away.
Yeah, Dolph's like, what was that all about? And Drew's like, no, it's nothing. Doesn't matter. And just walks off. Again, sowing those seeds for an eventual Drew face turn, which is what we're all expecting, as everyone's been comparing them to, the two dudes with attitude, Shawn Michaels and Diesel. The whole point of that was to get Diesel over and make him out as the breakout star of that. I mean, in the end, it turned out Shawn Michaels was always going to be the biggest star, but, sometimes plans change.
Height.
And
I thought that was going to be it, and then we were going to get the main event. But no, there was one crucial last backstage segment, and it's when I didn't think they were on backstage speaking terms, by the way. All these people who have had backstage segments.
Yeah, you just find them, hanging out in the locker room. It's not like the old days of TNA when you're in separate locker rooms because you're a babyface or heel.
I don't know. I just thought when Seth and Drew just hang out backstage, I thought, or Dean and Dolph. I thought, well, usually this would.
Well, I mean, they're not hanging out backstage. It's like someone like Dean was just standing there being pensive, and then Dolph saw him from afar and walked up to him.
So Drew McIntyre goes over to Dean Ambrose and says, hey, Seth just came to talk to me. And, he talked about me breaking away from that team. I'm really good.
Yeah.
Maybe to set up a 4-person Shield.
Yes.
And then I was like, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But, if you want to extend this feud out even further, what a brilliant swerve, and then that will be even more dramatic as the next chapter, and you've got a 4-person Shield, and Ambrose feels neglected with the Drew presence. And
yeah. So I loved this because Drew comes up to me and he says, like, Seth just approached me and said that he thinks that I should break up with Dolph. And he's like, now why do you think he did that? And I've got 2 theories. Either he wants me to join and we'll be a 4-person team, or he's looking to replace you.
Yes.
And then he just stops in and goes, I mean, it's not like Seth's ever stabbed you in the back before, is it? And just walks away. I thought this was a really solid story told throughout the show.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to give too much away of my feelings on the show, I loved this story, the main event, and the tag match. I didn't like much else on the show.
Yeah, I'd go for that.
Yeah.
I'd agree. But all that stuff you mentioned was actually quite a large part of the show.
Absolutely,
so
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
not too bad.
Yeah.
And then we had all this payoff in the Shield versus Baron Corbin and authors of AOP.
AOP, yeah.
That they were revealed to be the Baron's tag partners, along with Drake Maverick. who still looks awkward in that outfit.
There was a line when Dolph says that AOP have destroyed the tag team division since coming to Raw. And my note here is, I mean, apart from the Titus Worldwide, of course, who they lost to on several occasions.
But yeah, the AOP were a great choice regardless. And Mac Dolphman come out and they all sit at the top of the stage to watch on steel chairs.
Well, I mean, I've written here, they came out with chairs, and I was like, chairs match confirmed for Super Showdown. But nope, they were just using them as seats.
I like it when people are outside. I think it adds another layer of drama to the match in the ring. You kind of get an extra bit to watch the match through, like through the eyes of another player. But they looked goofy.
Yeah.
You know the whole brawn thing that they all do?
That's well lame now.
And now they just do everything in sequence like they're the Riott squad. They all stood up at the same time and at one spot in the match and then walked down a little bit further, and then AOP and Corbs attacked. That's when we get the Strowman chuckle. And they set up the chairs so they're sitting with the backs facing the front. Like I said in my review, like a hip supply teacher or a boy band.
Yeah,
and they all sat down in unison.
It was the boy band is where my mind was going, but the Riot Squad was also an apt comparison. I didn't think this was a particularly great match.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a great match. But I really liked when Roman and Razor were in the ring together. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
But I would say the ending of this was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
It was really, really good, including like bits with like AOP hitting the last chapter on the outside, and Seth was taken out elsewhere. So it was just Dean left alone in the ring, again telling that story that's been told throughout the show. And then essentially, man, it was just, I've written here, Dean gets the hot tag. This was awesome. Lots of finishes and dives. It was chaotic. It's like you didn't know where to look next because you didn't know where Seth was going to.
It was like those Shield matches of old.
Yeah.
And Dean like holds the fort for a bit while Reigns and Rollins supercharge back up outside, and then Seth Rollins takes everyone out. Roman gets the hot tag. Dean's like, I'm taking out that guy. He does a dive. Roman hits a spear on Baron for the win. It was I really enjoyed it. I do like the Shield, even though this is, you know, a pale imitation of what they once were. They still are very good in ring, and that this is the first time on TV that they've teamed together since Survivor Series.
Yes, it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were putting over on commentary.
That's quite impressive.
Well,
I thought that should
Dean's
have been
been
built
out-
up as a
Dean-
bigger deal.
Well, they were putting it throughout the entire show. What are you talking about? Every 5 minutes on commentary.
I only noticed it in the main event when but admittedly, Michael Cole said it twice in one entrance.
Yeah, Corey Graves every 5 minutes was going like, it was almost felt like, don't switch over to the football just yet, because the Shield are going to have their first match in almost a year here on the main event.
Yeah.
But the key to this really
It
was...
washes over me sometimes.
The key really was to at the end of this, because Seth and Roman kind of hug in the ring and they hold their titles aloft, but Dean's not there. And Corey's even going like, why aren't they celebrating with Dean? Why is Dean not in there with them? And Dean's on the outside, and Dean maneuvers himself in between the Shield in the ring and the Dogs of War on the ramp. And they film this really well, and to be like, which side is he going to go to? And eventually he makes his decision. He sort of teases going towards McDolphman, but actually slides back in the ring and does the Shield fist bump. And I was like, that's cool. That's awesome. And I thought it was a really good ending to the show.
Yeah, and it's not like it's definitive.
No.
That he's with the Shield. Because he was looking at McDolphman all the way through that Shield fist bump.
Yeah.
And not in a
Viper in the family, you might say.
Yeah, it could be a defiant look, but it could also be a, you know, just wait, boys.
Yeah.
Just wait. It's good. I really enjoyed this storyline throughout the night.
As did I.
And for what it could mean for the future. Because this is the first time we've done the Patreon shout-outs to all our $25 and above pledge hammers in this interim studio, which we'll hopefully moving out of on Friday.
Yes.
We might have a new place as of Monday. It just needs to be built.
We're going to build some IKEA furniture this
Yes,
Friday.
that's our plan. We haven't got the bell. I forgot the bell. It's in the boot of my car.
And we went to the car yesterday to go get Big Apple Takedown to record for the Patreon podcast.
And we saw it.
And we saw it, but didn't think to pick it up.
So we've got a new thing. Rather than the usual Hall of Fame rings, going to get some cheap pops.
Yes.
So
and this is very much a temporary measure. You'll get the ring tomorrow when we do the rest of it.
If I remember.
If we remember the bell.
Maybe everyone should get cheap pops this month.
Yeah.
And maybe people prefer cheap pops.
Well, we'll see what
because the ding is quite an annoying sound. And us going, yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it?
And big shout out as well to all of our brand new pledge hammers that have come in that are trying to drive us up to that goal of 750 pledge hammers so we can start doing weekly NXT reviews. We apologise if some of you felt that we have, quote, misled you. Because we were very close at the end of last month. And
Got
then
to 737.
Yes, and we're like about the same sort of mark again this month. But the problem was when August flipped over to September, we got a lot of declines and fraudulent backing, and some people just left. So that took us right back down again. So we had to
680.
So we had to do the climb all over again. So we're not misleading you. We're not trying to like rip anyone off. It's unfortunately it's the way the Patreon works.
But thank you, Paul. Oh, if you want a shout out on the WrestleRamble, head over, become a pledge hammer, or up your pledge at the moment to $25 a month or more.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul.
Before we get into there, one other note on Patreon. I think a few people said they were missed off last month, which we're trying to rectify this month. However, if you are missed off, Patreon have just changed the way their reporting works, and it's very difficult for me now to work out who's at what level. So if you are missed off, just let me know.
Yep, and we'll
make it
right
up.
away.
Yeah.
So thank you, finally, Paulie Dangerously Jarman.
Yay! The $100 man, CD Horver.
Whoa,
Hey!
CD!
Yeah.
The craftsman, Blake Carpenter.
Hey, nice! Mr. Chris Anderson.
That's your best
Oh, what's yours then?
agent? Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Chris Anderson.
Yours is better, actually.
Whoa!
Yay!
I'm very rarely better at an impression. Andy, yes, it's me, Datsun. Slow clap
Yeah,
for
I
Andy.
suppose. Yeah, maybe I'll put my coffee down so we can.
You
do
know,
this.
the guy who writes for the website has become a pledge hammer this month. I feel just as a rib on us.
It's very nice,
yeah,
Andy.
thanks,
It's lovely.
Andy.
Thank you very much. Adam and the Anthony Bergerson.
Whoa!
Hey,
I love
lovely.
Adam and the Ants.
Yeah.
Asuka's future husband and EOF one-man wrecking crew skin trade. It's a
Oh,
weird
whoa,
name.
it's a weird
he
name.
asked for it.
Big Ben Spires.
Woo,
That's a
woo.
London landmark.
Brett the Hitman Matthew Willis.
Williams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nailed that,
nailed.
Selin.
Killer Chris Phillips.
Oh, he's going to get you.
You wouldn't find that on PG television.
Infinite Crisis, Chris Jenkins.
Oh, hello,
I love that
DC
comic book
reference.
event.
I want to be like you, Chris Louis.
Hey,
Hey,
I once asked for that song in a club and they told me to F off. Christopher the Condor Johnson.
Yeah,
Whoa,
the
I don't
Condor.
fully understand that one.
That's
I think
one he
Luke
asked.
Came up
It's
with
one
it.
he asked for.
Okay then.
Let's have a drink, Christopher Travis, Merryman. Oh,
I'd love
yes.
to, Chris.
Love it.
Drinks
yes.
on you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It's
my
you.
turn. Courtney Villainous Havoc Summers. She's one of our longest running Patreons.
She's one of the
Thank you.
best. We love her to pieces. The Mayor of Painesville, Dan. Love.
Yes,
yeah, go on. No,
it's
Dan.
misspelled as the Major of Painesville still. We'll rectify it eventually.
Absolutely. That was you. It's you again.
The David Hendricks' God Mackenzie.
Yeah.
It's all about the timing.
Absolutely. Like comedy. Dead the Pool Warrior.
Whoa!
It's a bit like Deadpool, but
I
not
like
quite.
Deadpool. Luke doesn't.
I do not.
And
He's rubbish.
Dive Dylan Cachetta.
Yes.
Thank you.
Loving the dives.
Oh,
Well-
I quite enjoyed that. It's impossible not to get excited when you're clapping.
It really is. Maybe that is the future of how we do the shout outs. Yeah.
Let us know what you all think.
You're seeing history being made on this show.
Yeah.
And we will do the rest of the $25 and above shout outs on tomorrow's SmackDown review. Haha, it's a Raw review looking jacked, man.
Then, now, forever. Actually, maybe not forever. We've got a new Sting, ladies and gentlemen.
This took me by surprise. I thought I'd loaded the wrong video.
Oh God,
Yeah, what have I
this is a
loaded
bad
now?
feed. But yeah, we haven't got the.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm going to kind of miss it, to be honest. But it's the same way
I
with like
prefer
Classy,
the
Freddie
old-
Blassie, Andre, the Giant,
was a good
WrestleMania. Everyone's got a price. I really like that one as well.
Yeah, are they getting worse or are we just getting old and less susceptible to change?
Maybe that's what it is.
So this one, it starts off as like you're going through a video tunnel with different clips from WWE's storied past happening on the walls, and then it slowly zooms out, and you realise that those videos are playing in the grooves of a WWE the W logo.
Yeah.
And it just says forever at the bottom after going through then and now inside the W. I just think everything should be modelled on the Marvel Sting.
Oh, I mean, but
and
nothing's
it's like a
going to be
minute
ever
long.
Do you remember when that came out? Like when they first unveiled it, and everyone was like, "It's too long a Sting." And now I watch, I'm like, "Should be longer."
Well, it's like,
I could do with another 2 minutes of it.
You watch it in isolation, and you're like, "That's too long."
So
but then
long.
you watch it in front of a movie, and you're hyped. You're like,
Come on, 10 years.
Yeah. It's a new Sting.
Mm-hmm. Not the wrestler or the police. This is just a Sting to start the show. I'm sure we'll all get used to it eventually.
Yeah.
I thought I wouldn't get used to it after they changed the one from the Attitude Era, which was like that dinger digger dinger shugga. Yeah, I got used to it.
So next up, to open the real show, we had Baron Corbin backstage in the parking lot area, and a limo arrives. Baron's very happy. He starts singing Happy Birthday to Stephanie McMahon, who steps out the limo, and then Triple H also gets out, and he is like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, so
comedy trips.
Baron's singing Happy Birthday, but Stephanie does not look impressed. And then Triple H gets out, and Baron's sort of like, and he gets a bit awkward. I thought it was funny as well. Did you see Tommaso Ciampa's tweet about Stephanie's birthday?
No.
He posted a picture from 13 years ago when he first met Stephanie. And it's like obviously like a tryout for WWE. And he's like right at the back. And Stephanie's there with Triple H and his long blonde hair. And he's got like me, you, Thor? ? But he's got it's like, "I first met you 13 years ago. I'm pretty sure you told me that one day I'd be the greatest sports entertainer of all time. You are such a visionary." That is
a heel. That is a great heel tweet.
He is Project Ciampa, and he's great.
Ciampa. Oh, I hate you. The Triple H sort of just was like, "I'm just here to do some NXT stuff."
He was just like, "This is awkward, and I'm off." Yeah.
And then, even though I thought the whole point of making Corbin the Raw GM over Kurt was because Stephanie likes heels. But then Stephanie got out and was like, what are you doing, Baron, putting yourself in the Universal Championship match last week on Raw, and totally emasculated him. So no one's safe.
Yeah,
babyface or heel.
She said, "If you can't sort out the Shield, then maybe Kurt Angle will have to come back from his vacation sooner than we'd planned."
I just don't like Stephanie's character.
She was a pure-on babyface later on in this show.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So yes, Steph didn't miss Stephanie at all. Everything Triple H did, I thought, was very funny.
Yeah, and he had a good promo later as well. Yeah.
This was a bit rubbish.
Yes.
But that's when Stephanie says, "You'll face the Shield later tonight. Find some tag partners."
Yeah.
Then we got the Shield promo to open the thing, which we already talked about. Then we got Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal to hype a mixed match challenge match.
That's not happening this week.
Which is happening next week, right?
I think so, yes. Because I think this week it's Jinder and Alicia versus Bobby, Lashley and Mickie James.
Well, maybe this to me screamed Sasha Banks is injured.
We need something for Bayley to do.
Yeah. Finn Balor doesn't have a storyline.
Yes.
So they just fudged this together. And it actually turned into quite a good match.
I mean,
quite fun.
It was better than the last time these two had a match on Raw where Jinder concussed him.
And then became the champion.
And then became WWE champion.
That's how we were awarded that dangerous working.
I mean, it was fine. Balor won, and then at the end of the match,
that was the post match was confusing.
Well, Sunil Singh ran around because Alicia Fox was sort of like distracting Balor, and then Bayley distracted Jinder, and then Alicia Fox walked round to Bayley. Bayley sort of pushed her out the way, and then she gave the Bayley to belly to Sunil. Devastating. And then Balor won with a roll up, and then Alicia, and then Jinder starts berating Sunil Singh and sort of like throws him back in the ring, sort of throws him around a little bit, but then Shanti. Finds his center and sits down and starts meditating to utter silence.
Yeah, it was confusing. Whatever they were going for, I don't think they executed what they were going for. I get what they were going for. We'll pretend to just about to break up, and then no, wait, we're calm. But it come across as very rushed.
I think the idea with Jinder is that this Shanti thing is a load of rubbish, and he's not really calm and collected. He's actually a very angry man, and eventually this Shanti facade will fall to pieces, and he'll be angry Jinder.
And beat up Alicia.
Well, I mean, beat up Sunil again, and maybe Samir runs down to make the save.
Wow, okay, yeah. This was... I quite enjoyed the match, but this post-match was confusing. However...
Oh, right, well, let's get into this, shall we?
So, next up we had the Riott Squad taking on Natalya and the Bella Twins. This is, of course, to build the Riott Squad to that Ronda Rousey-Bella Twins match at Super Showdown. So, the Riott Squad really needed a win here, and preferably coming out with all 3 members intact.
So this was originally advertised as Nikki versus Ruby Riott, but that got changed, I'm guessing sort of on the day, maybe just before the show, to be this six-woman tag match with Natalya involved. And, I mean, it fell apart right at the start when Brie was kicking, she was doing the yes kicks on Liv Morgan.
Getting a nice little pop. I actually, when Natalya came out, not much of a pop, but then the Bellas came out, and there was actually...
They are over.
Yeah,
I know.
I was confused.
We're not keen, and going by what I've been sent on Twitter this morning, a few people aren't keen, but we know that there are people who watch the show who are keen, and they do like her. And as I've said, a friend of mine has no interest in wrestling, but she does like Brie Bella. She thinks Brie Bella is great. And so they do have that mainstream appeal. So I do get why they are pushed to a degree. But yeah, so Brie's doing the yes kicks, again, as you said, to a pop. But one of the kicks was a little high, and she kicked Liv right in the face. And Liv just started falling. She was like a tree in a forest, just started falling.
Slumps, yeah,
and
down.
And as she was falling down, Brie threw another kick and kicked her in the face again.
So hard, like shin.
Yeah.
The shin right on the face.
And then, so Liv just goes down, sack of spuds.
She's out.
Absolutely out. And then Brie rolls her over, which you really shouldn't do, and tried to pin her, and Liv just sort of like had to shuffle her shoulder a little bit.
That is amazing that Liv kicked out.
Yeah, it really is.
Because she was definitely like blacked out, because she was falling.
Yeah.
And like they say in boxing, her arms weren't up to protect her. She was just falling face down.
Yeah.
Because she was out.
But
then she must have came to when she was on her back, very slightly. Like,
and then for whatever reason, like Brie just starts dragging her across the ring, and I'm here going like, why hasn't this match been stopped? And
someone should have run the referee should have jumped on this, or Sarah Logan should have ran in and took out Brie, and they just distract stuff away from Morgan.
Yeah, so they drag Morgan across, and they try and like stand her up, and she just falls back down again, and they sort of have to like lean over and tag her in, and so Ruby then goes in, and the cameras do like pan away from the corner to show that, because Sarah Logan was on the outside seeing if she was all right. I'm assuming the doctor was there to make sure what was going on as well. And then for whatever reason, Liv gets back up, and she gets in the ring, and they do this 6-person suplex spot. And then they go to the commercial break, and Michael Cole says that Liv Morgan's been taken to the back and she's being evaluated. Apparently, she wasn't taken to the back. She was still at ringside. The doctor was there. It's just the cameras were trying not to catch them.
Yeah.
Though the cameras did catch them at one point. So, and then it just became this 3-on-2 handicap match. But really, this should have been stopped from the get-go. Like, as soon as Liv was out, like, something should have been stopped there. And it was really odd that it didn't.
I think you just work around it. So the referee should have done something, and then maybe Morgan or not Morgan, Logan or Ruby runs in, attacks Brie, and then you quickly go to the break. You come back and Liv's on the outside.
Yes,
that's
it's a better way of doing it,
because you know someone's injured, but you can still cover for it. Meltzer and Alvarez were outraged on Wrestling Observer Radio's review.
Yeah, Brian was very outraged on Twitter.
Specifically blaming the referee here. And I can see his point. Like, the referee's job, one of his main jobs, is to make sure that everyone's safe. Because if you leave a wrestler to wrestle, they are going to keep wrestling, injury or not.
Yeah.
Because that's their job. That's the way they're conditioned.
That's why Liv got back into the ring for the suplex.
Yeah. So the referee has to, like, be there to protect the wrestlers almost from themselves. But yeah, he kind of just let it all play out. It was quite obvious to everyone what happened. But I also just, that's an awful mistake from Brie Bella. First one, this happens, you know? But to then go back and hit her in the face again, she's not a good... Again, I don't know when it became unpopular to say that the Bellas can't wrestle, and they haven't wrestled for a long time. It's not like ring rust improves you. And this is just... just the latest example of a Bella botch.
Yeah,
and then there was another one in the match that you showed me that's not getting talked about as much, but Nikki just forearms Ruby right in the face.
Yeah, so essentially, after the break, it became this 3-on-2 handicap match. And there's a spot where Sarah Logan she catapults Nikki in towards the Riott Squad corner, with the idea being that Ruby would give her a forearm in the face as a double team move. Ooh, you dastardly heels. But when Nikki goes up, she just forearms Ruby square in the face as hard as she possibly can. And Ruby just stands there, like with this look on her face, like, well, what'd you do that for?
Like a badass.
Like a badass. Then she steps in the ring, and Sarah Logan's standing there going like, well, I've no idea why she did that.
Yeah.
And then Ruby just gets in and just kicks Nikki. We're like, what did you do that for? This was not good at all. This was a mess.
It's I mean, I don't like the Bellas. I'm fine with the Bellas as characters. I think they're wooden as actors, but yeah, I get the fact that they're there because they're popular.
Yeah.
But wrestling wise, that they're not good. They never have been.
They've improved.
Yeah,
but like there was a very small bar, a very low bar to begin with.
Yeah, and compared to like the current women's wrestlers, they're not even close. And just to kind of bring that up, sort of, there was that no DQ article, and a lot of the female wrestlers, Paige Carmella and the Bellas, rounded on it as, hey, how dare you say that the divas aren't as good a wrestlers as the current crop? And what? It's just, it's confusing for them to do that. I think some of it is throwing the shade off the fact that the Crown Jewel show is happening, which is a non-woman show a couple of days after the all-women pay-per-view of Evolution. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a backstage strategy and a directive from WWE telling all of the female performers, hey, if anything controversial happens that could be construed as misogynistic, pounce on that just to get around the fact that we have sold out our own morality.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm angry. I've fallen into a goddamn Brie hole. Now I'm angry about everything.
Yeah.
I'm angry about the Bellas being back because they're not good. I'm angry that they're injuring people in a sloppy mistake. And I'm angry at WWE for doing the whole Crown Jewel thing. Ugh.
Yeah, I think that the Bellas and Alicia Fox and Marisa Hell in a Cell has really exposed the difference between the Divas wrestling of 10 years ago and the current crop of women's wrestlers they have now, who aren't really getting their chance to shine because of this. And Brie, I feel, I shouldn't say, I do feel bad for her because this has not been a great return for Brie. Between the dives a few weeks ago where everyone jumped on the Riott Squad and blamed them, and the match with, they managed to botch the ending with her and Maurice. It was really sloppy at the end of Hell in a Cell, and then this. It's really not been a good return for Brie. And I rewatched those dives against the Riott Squad a couple of weeks ago. And a lot of people have said, the Riott Squad were out of position. But the Riott Squad were in the right position if Brie was ever going to make any distance with that dive, like Ember Moon would have done, like anyone would have done, like Sasha Banks would have done. But Brie she barely got her feet between the ropes, or past the ropes, before she was already catapulting to the floor. So it's been a bad run for them, I feel. And I feel bad that the Riott Squad are sort of they're falling into this hole. And then at the end of the match...
Because Ruby is so good. And Morgan's good.
Yeah,
Morgan's really improved.
I think Sarah Logan is great. I'm a big, big fan of Sarah Logan.
Liv Morgan used to be the butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
9 months ago. But she's always... I've always enjoyed the way she presents herself as this kind of Harley Quinn character. But she's gotten decent recently.
Yes.
And, yeah.
And at the end of the match, the Riott Squad, Ruby Riott pinned Natalya, which doesn't really put over the Riott Squad because they didn't beat any of the Bellas. So this match was still building to a Super Showdown, which now we don't know what's going to happen with that, depending on how seriously concussed Liv is. Still means the Riott Squad still get no heat from beating Natalya. They didn't beat the Bellas, so they're still rubbish compared to the Bellas and Ronda Rousey. So it did nothing for them. It did nothing.
Slight build of anticipation. Just a slight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a bit more credibility than last week.
Slightly, yes.
And that's your go.
But at least they did beat them on a one woman disadvantage, I guess. This was no good. It was very, very bad. And I'll be honest, like the Brie stuff was bad enough, but the Nikki Bella thing, where she just clocks Ruby so hard in the face, was a massive amount of miscommunication. And I've no idea what Nikki thought she was doing.
And from that sort of bad in-ring stuff to bad just overall presentation. And this is going to be another uncomfortable part after possibly broaching the people misconstruing stuff as misogynistic. And now we're going to talk about how charity is ruining the Raw television product.
Okay, well, my end of that was like, well, this is very sweet and quite wonderful. And it was very sweet and quite wonderful. I wouldn't have put it on Raw.
That's the problem.
I wouldn't have put it on Raw. It's not, I think that when you're competing against the NFL, the last thing you want to be doing is giving people a reason not to watch the show. However, I thought it was quite sweet and quite nice. It was a lovely moment for the kids. Like little girl,
do it as a little VT that you did earlier in the day.
Agree,
then.
but
my problem isn't charity here. My problem is this segment.
You can't say that it wasn't sweet though.
Yeah, that's true. It was misjudged. It tells you that everything's fake.
Yes. Completely agree. But it was sweet.
No, but they're kind of one rules out the other for me. I can't. Sweet is so far down there now.
Yeah, I mean, and I
there's also
get it,
okay, so what happened, people, was there was a VT from earlier in the day about the Konnor the Crusher charity, Connor's Cure,
the whole Raw roster's on the ramp, by the way. Even like the Shield and Braun Strowman, like these people who have got blood feuds between the two of them. They're all standing next to each other.
One person separating Braun from Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
and it was Titus O'Neil. And it was just like they're standing there, big grins on their faces, and then Triple H and Stephanie walk down to the ring. Noted heels, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H walk down to the ring, and they have this presentation thing in the middle where they're like, we're really happy to announce that our charity Connor's Cure is partnering with Hope on Wheels. And you're like, Hope on what? Oh, that's Hyundai. So it's another so this was all really PR corporate stuff.
This was all for the stakeholders. This was all for people who have, are part of the stock, as opposed to the wrestling fans watching it.
This is what you do at a shareholders meeting.
Yep.
Just to say to everyone, hey, look, we're doing all this charity stuff. Isn't that lovely? And it is lovely. When you really look at it and be cynical about it, it is just for PR relations, but it has no place on Raw. When you're trying to watch a show, you're trying to believe something that a lot of people make fun of you for anyway, for being fake, in their words, or predetermined and as. And now everyone takes a timeout, a 15-minute break in the middle of a show.
It was long.
This is akin to a movie happening, and then halfway through the movie, all the actors stop their fighting and tense relationships and say, hey, no, we're the actors now playing it, and they just all stand together and then do a nice little charity announcement.
Yeah, like in the middle of Avengers Infinity War,
yeah.
Thanos and, actually, I'm Josh Brolin, and Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. takes off the helmet and is like, actually, yeah, no, I'm actor Robert Downey Jr., and they just stand next to each other.
And we just want to tell you about some bad drinking water in a third world country.
Yeah.
And then back into the fighting. And you're like, that doesn't happen. It's intellectually it's patronizing to the viewership. I thought it was absolutely abysmal.
But it was quite nice.
But it was already, and then they had, and here we've got this guy, presents the check, because you think, okay, the kids come out, they're the ambassadors, they get a hug, they get a title belt, everyone's clapping.
Because they had this table with a cloth over it with two title belts. I was like, are they going to introduce the Raw Women's Tag Team titles? That's what I genuinely thought.
Inaugural champions.
I thought they were going to be like, we're going to talk about Connor's Cure for a bit, and then I'm going to sideline this into announcing that we're going to do a Women's Tag Team title tournament that's going to culminate at Evolution. But no, more for me, it was to give to the kids.
So this is similar to those sorts of moments when they talk about their, we're doing great stuff for women, and all the baby faces and heels in the women's division hug. And you're like, no, don't. Make it part of the story. Stop telling me that this is all fake so you can get your bull crap PR nonsense over.
Yeah.
Because it is just PR. It isn't just PR. I'm sure people want to do good. But screw this, I thought. lovely in real life, but has no place on a television show like this.
My heart did melt when the little girl cried.
That was cute. Yeah.
It was cute. In high end, I gave a very generous donation.
They could have given more.
I mean, they
Where is the angle?
I mean, they write it off as tax. We are still waiting
Where
for
is
that
the
moment.
Undisputed Era debut where they beat this Zaffa Brooks guy, the head of Hope on Wheels? He needed to be put through that table. You're telling me there is a segment where there's a table in the ring and no one gets put through it?
It's used as a table.
Wake up, sheeple!
Right, okay, but I thought the weirdest part of this was they were talking about, they spent this whole 50 minutes, and it did go about 15, 20 minutes. It was a long portion. And they said over and over again, Connor's cure, Connor's cure, Connor's cure. The next segment had Chad Gable versus Konnor of the Ascension, who's a baddie. And I was like, what a weird transition this has been.
I don't think that's the bit you have a problem with. It was sweet, but yeah, they spell their name
I
differently.
mean, I guess it is
Konnor
spelled differently.
Konnor with
But it's
a
just
K.
so weird to why do these two segments back to back? Switch them round. Don't put Connor's cure, the nice thing, against Konnor the baddie.
Yeah, well, there was a Dean and Dolph backstage segment in between.
I guess so.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So this then went to make it 3. What's the opposite to a home run?
Well, I mean,
row?
it was a strikeout, I guess.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts in a row.
I watch baseball.
We had Chad Gable and Bobby Roode cutting a little backstage pre-tape promo where Chad's like, hey, my new thing is to WWBRD. What would Bobby Roode do? And they came out. And
the answer to that is get called up from NXT and not get pushed.
And so they come down, and I was like, please, don't you dare.
Come on, after the angle last week, what were you expecting?
I was like, don't you dare bring out the Ascension. Don't you dare bring out either Victor or Konnor.
And it was
Give
Konnor.
me a Heath Slater, give me a Rhino, give me a Kurt Hawkins.
No, it was Konnor of the Ascension in singles action, his first televised singles match in WWE history. And he cut an inset promo on his own. I thought this was very interesting, given the angle they did last week, where it was Konnor that left everyone laying and walked away on his own. And I say interesting, that's a strong word. And then he's the one who cut this solo inset promo. And the commentators were really doing a job of trying to put over Konnor as this semi-truck of destruction. And he got the win over Chad Gable here. He used a big power move and he won. And it almost feels like they got their eye on Konnor as the next, lower mid-card Mojo Rawley heel to push.
This is one of the most WWE undercard things I've ever seen. And you've got Bobby Roode, you've got Chad Gable, you've got Victor, a very good wrestler in his own right, used to team with Daniel Bryan in New Japan in the noughties. And out of all of those guys that could have a push, you
pick the biggest one.
You actually start pushing one of them for 3 weeks on a victory streak, and then really unneeded, derailing Chad's momentum, you get just the big guy who's definitely has the least potential out of the bunch.
Yeah.
To win and beat Chad in a 2-minute match.
Corey Graves said that the win stunned the crowd into silence. I mean, they were silent beforehand, but yeah, good. It was a good try. It was a good attempt to save Corey.
Well done, Corey. He'll make a good car salesman. Triple H did a promo next, which was very good, actually. Yeah. That was the bad part of the show.
Yes.
Everything before and after, I'd say, was pretty good, apart from the Nia Jax, Alicia Fox match.
And I've got problems with the Bobby Elias thing as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Triple H is getting into the limo because he's done his charity bit, back to being a bad guy, and Charlie asks him about Taker, and Triple H has a really cool line about, hey, I sold my soul ages ago, Taker's not getting it.
I love
this. You just did a charity segment!
I love this, though. Triple H was like, hey, if Taker thinks me wearing a suit is a problem, he's already lost. I thought that was really, really great. And then he was like, he wants to take my soul. I sold that a long time ago. And it's like, he said for Undertaker, the end is near. Yeah. I thought this was good.
It was a cool promo. Cool, heel, badass promo. Just 3 segments after he embraced a crying gal in a charity segment in the ring. So there is a There is a lack of consistency here.
You know, there's Undertaker versus Triple H, and then there's pediatric cancer Triple H.
Well, we're talking about doing some video essays on this channel. We're looking forward to it. Get some like nice, chunky, meaty subjects. Maybe I should try and see how many threads of continuity there are in WWE. You've got like the nothing is real continuity.
Yeah.
You've got Mixed Match Challenge somewhere in there. You've got the 205 Live guys who are separate to their Raw characters.
Yep. It's like the Terminator timeline.
Yeah, you've
it's
got
spinning off all over the show.
You've got the part-timers.
Yep.
Where Kane and Triple. You've got the Titus. Whoever's feuding with Titus Worldwide. That's its own continuity.
Yep. These glorified house shows that are sort of their own continuity.
I didn't even think about house shows.
Yep.
SmackDown. Jesus.
Yeah, it's like The Legend of Zelda, only it's wrestling. And we then got Mixed Match Challenge promos with R-Truth thinking they were fighting at Hell in a Cell.
I didn't get that.
Did you not?
In my feed.
Oh, I did. And yeah, he's like, we're going to take you on. I'm going to step inside Hell in a Cell and I'm going to fight you. And Carmella's like, no, it's Mixed Match Challenge. And he's like, is that happening at Hell in a Cell?
What colour was Carmella's hair?
Brown. So it was new. I'm guessing they did it at the house show recently. And then we got the plug for the Ease People's Choice Award. You can vote for Nikki Bella, stiffing Ruby Riott in the face as like reality star of the whatever. John Cena for his role in Blockers, and Nia Jax as the what's it called again? The
Game Changer.
The Game Changer Award. Yeah. John Cena in Blockers, a film you didn't like.
Yeah, I watched it on Sunday. It's subpar.
I liked it. I thought it was actually very funny. I laughed throughout, particularly. I thought John Cena was the best thing in it.
Yep. He is the best thing in it.
Yep.
Cannot fault Big John's performance.
And he got this new trailer for the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, it looks badass.
Man, if I didn't, I never thought I would be interested in that film. But as soon as you put like G1 Soundwave in there and G1 Optimus Prime and Shockwave, I'm like, I'm in. I'm so in for this movie.
Give me G1 Tanahashi, and then we're talking. So then we got a surprising treat, I would say.
Loved this.
So they announced earlier in the night that Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre are going to defend their titles against the Revival. This pays off from 3 weeks ago when McIntyre and Ziggler took out the Revival when they were meant to have a tag title shot against the B Team. Remember them? That lasted for ages. And they were beaten up and they couldn't take it, even though the Revival had won a few times.
I'm going to stop you slightly there. I'm going to say this, quote, paid off, big air quotes for podcast listeners, because I would have thought a payoff would have been the Revival demanding a title shot or stopping Drew and Dolph or attacking them because they did steal their tag team title shot and won the belts.
Let's take our loose threads tied together where we can get them.
I suppose.
Okay.
Because this has made the Revival look, I mean, a little like chumps, to be honest, because they're like, we'll just send the wings patiently until we get our title match that we should have had a couple of weeks ago against a much worse team.
But this match, as an isolated segment,
was great.
Yeah, it was really interesting because you see this build and it's essentially a heel tag team versus a heel tag team.
I think the Revival are baby faces now.
That's just... I mean, I don't know why they would be. They certainly worked it in this match.
But they were, I think they had their sort of babyface turn, that's again some big air quotes.
When they were attacked.
When they were, when they were facing the B team.
But the B team were the faces.
Oh yeah, because they had a face turn, well, I think. Or maybe it was the attack.
It's not been a good few months for the tag division.
Payoff.
But you think heel tag team versus heel tag team and the Revival... This isn't going to go that long. I fully expected this to be a 3-5 minute match where nothing really happens. That is totally not what happened. You had like one of the Revival getting worked over for a bit, but then the Revival had this epic comeback for quite a long time. McIntyre and Ziggler were very generous, and there were some excellent near falls. Yeah. Near falls that I half bought into.
I bought into the finish. One of the finishes when Dolph tries to hit the Famouser and Scott Dawson, like, he powers him up. He didn't quite catch it, or Dash Wilder rather, didn't quite get him, but he just powered him up there with the help of Dolph. And then Scott Dawson comes off the top rope and it's almost like a Doomsday Device type maneuver for an amazing near fall. I genuinely bought it as the finish. I really did. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, it was just a really fun match, and the kind of match that a little bit resets the Revival. And you see you've got the Revival here, you've got the AOP in the main event. it really does feel like Vince McMahon is interested in tag team wrestling again.
Whoa, that's a stretch there. This is one match in isolation.
No. This is 3 weeks after SummerSlam, where you had the AOP repackaging with Drake.
Oh, I suppose, yeah,
You've
yeah.
had Chad Gable being paired with Bobby Roode. I know that hasn't gone
The
well
Ascension
this
got a
week.
win.
Yep. And the belts were taken off the B team and put onto McIntyre and
Dolph,
Ziggler.
yep.
So
Yeah, maybe you're right. I take that back.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about this was in the finish was that Dolph didn't get the tag to Drew. He just fell into Drew, and Drew tagged himself in. It was and they put it over on commentary. It was like, it's very fortuitous that Dolph fell that way because the Revival really were dominating and they were on top. But then here comes Big Drew, and the Revival even got another near fall on Drew. I just thought it was a really great match, and then they ended it with the Claymore zigzag for the win.
Yeah, the
really,
Zigmar.
really good.
And also in all of this, Dean Ambrose is shown watching backstage.
Yeah.
Then we got the Kevin Owens show with Elias. I'm just pretending that Kevin Owens doesn't exist right now. And this isn't Kevin Owens. And then hopefully in 3 months' time, he'll come back as the Kevin Owens I know. So I'm just saying, I'm going to stop complaining about how KO's being used in this and focus on the good bits, which is Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush.
Yeah, I mean, there was also a sign in the crowd of a guy dressed up as a character from Basketball. Remember that film with Matt Stone and Trey Parker?
Basketball.
Someone
Outs.
Yeah, well, someone had a sign up that said, your mum's going out with Squeak, which really made...
That is obscure.
It's an obscure reference. I even rewound it so I could take a screen cap of it.
Wake up, Squeaky, my new best friend. He lived in his drawer.
It is, yeah. Yo, Pierce, I hear your mum's going out with Squeak. It really made me laugh. Anyway, so yeah, Kevin Owens does the Kevin Owens show and brings out his guest, which is Lio Rush. Lio Rush comes out to do his Man of the Hour shtick, but stays on the ramp. He's like, I'm not an idiot. I know I've only just arrived here, but I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not coming down to the ring. You're just going to jump me. And then Elias is like, oh, hey, no, we got an extra seat for you. And Kevin Owens says it's dastardly. He's like, oh, yeah, we have. And he brings out a booster seat to put on because he's so small, you see. But then this brought out Bobby Lashley, Denver's own Bobby Lashley. And he came
Wouldn't
out.
have known it from the crowd reaction.
Actually, I thought it was a really good reaction for Bobby, and I thought they were
Not in
really
the
into him.
match.
No, I thought they were into him during the match as well. Let's go, Bobby stuff.
Relatively to a Bobby match.
So it ended up being Bobby Lashley versus Elias. This match went far too long. It was dreadfully boring, and then ended in a DQ. Rubbish this was. A waste of time this was. Why don't you just... It doesn't hurt Elias to have Bobby win. Like, why didn't Bobby just win here in your hometown, get the hometown Bob? Because this finish just ended flat. So good job, WWE. You farted out a reaction from a crowd who were into their hometown boy. What a waste of time this was. It went for like half an hour as well. It went on for so long.
Yeah, with the Kevin Owens show segment beforehand.
This was rubbish.
I still like Leo and Lashley as
That
an
I like.
act.
That I like.
I was focusing mostly on that. The finish itself was quite peculiar, where Owens' face, like, chasing Leo around, and Owens trips over Lashley, and that is taken as the DQ.
Such a wet fart of a finish.
Like as the referee really should have some common sense there. It makes everyone look stupid.
Yeah.
No, nothing really gets over. But then you got the Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre stuff backstage. Then we got Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox.
I've got 3 notes here. This match is going to be horrible. Nia wins. Not as bad as I thought it would be.
What about Nia's new best friend, Ember Moon?
Oh, well,
after
yeah.
last week.
Yeah, so they're now best friends
Yeah.
because Nia needs a friend. Otherwise, you can't have a storyline in the women's division in WWE. No. It's all based around friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, this wasn't much of anything, really. This was your filler between the Bobby Lashley segment and the main event.
Game changing. And then, yeah, we got a recap package of Triple H versus The Undertaker, which was very good. Shawn Michaels is going to be on Raw next week.
PW Insider saying Undertaker will be as well.
Nice.
This video package I've written here, this has had more hype than anything on Hell in a Cell.
That's why it's the best built match. Yeah, it's
Probably
great.
this year.
It's great.
Yeah, I think this has had more hype than anything at WrestleMania. This, apart from Ronda Rousey, maybe. Yeah, this has had more hype than anything in months, and that's been quite nice, really. I wish they could take you can't even say the lessons learned, because they know how to do it. Just do that with all the stuff you got on the current roster. The reason why you have to keep trotting out these nostalgia acts for these big house shows is because your current crop of guys don't feel like stars. That's because you don't present them as stars. So why would we get excited? maybe let's try and do that. And they also announced for next week it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley, so that's the whole keeps spinning. No John Cena, even though he is at the show, at Super Showdown. And it's going to be Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott, which I'd imagine will get turned into a 6-woman tag at the last minute. Well,
providing maybe just a normal tag.
Yeah, providing what happens to poor old Liv Morgan. God bless Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Poor soul.
So, that's Raw. I know we got angry about some things on there, but I really the main storyline running through the show and that tag match, and just the idea of AOP in the main event, I thought was really, really, that's a really nice treat.
What did you score it?
I gave it average.
Yeah, I was thinking average as well. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't say. I mean, possibly at a push you could push me to a high average, but that really would be a stretch.
That would be a stretch.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we've got time for. Please click the videos that have just appeared on our laps to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk awesome things. And this button right here, which will subscribe you. No, this button right here will make you a Patreon, because we need to get to 750 to make weekly NXT reviews happen. You get loads of exclusive content if you become a Pledgehammer. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been the other one, Luke Owen. And that was Rambling.